Welcome to the Women's Speakers Association's WSA TV Premier Women's Show. I am Laura Rubenstein, your host and producer, and I'm so excited today because why? We're talking about getting into the entrepreneurial flow. How is your entrepreneurial flow? Are you feeling in alignment? Are you at ease? Are you producing the results you want? Well, today's experts are here to share how to do that, their hacks and tips for getting into entrepreneurial flow. So let's go say hi to them. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Laura. How are you? I'm Jen Duplessis, and I'm joining you today from Northern Virginia. I am an author, a speaker, and a coach, and you can reach me at jenduplessis.com.
Great, Jen. Great to have you. And hi, Lisa.
Hi, Laura. I'm actually calling in from sunny Australia, Sydney, just north of Sydney, Australia. And I'm a transformational business and life coach. And you can find me at lisawellington.com.
Fabulous. Thanks for joining us from down under. And Corin, hi.
Hi, Laura. Nice to see you today. Great to be here. I'm a coach, a workshop leader, and a speaker. And I'm calling today from Guernsey in the Channel Islands, which is close to France. And you can find me on www.corinlepage.com.
It's beautiful. And great to have you from across the pond. We're truly an international experience today where we're going to be, and all of you work with entrepreneurs. So what I thought we'd talk about is how to get into the flow, how to get unstuck, how to build that entrepreneurial power in ourselves. So I wanted to ask Jen first, what advice do you have for our viewers today about how to get into this entrepreneurial flow?
Yeah, thank you so much. And again, thank you so much for having me here today. I'm so excited to share. So I have this mantra called stop talking, take action, get results, right? And part of that is that you have to slow down to speed up, because when you speed up, you end up slowing down. Lots of mistakes are made, right? And so for me, it comes from the core values that you have. And really, my premise for everyone is that a life of values adds value everywhere in your life, whether it's physical or relationship, your health, your business, right? All of those come from your core and being aligned with your core. And so what we tend to do is we run around like chickens with our head cut off, trying to get every little bit of business that we can get, wearing multiple hats as entrepreneurs. And really, to get in that flow is to just slow down so you can speed up, right? Take the time. So I really love recommending to people in what I call my lifestyle business mastery, where we focus on building or determining your lifestyle so that we can build your business around it, rather than what everyone else does, which is build your business and try to squeeze your life in, right? And so you can't get in a flow as a result of that. And so we do that in a couple different ways. So the first is in clarity, right? Making sure that we have clarity, identifying 3 to 4 core values that you have, and asking yourself, am I living those core values every day in my business, or are these counterintuitive? Do I say that my family's most important, but I'm working till 11 o'clock every night? And that disrupts the flow, right? So that's the clarity piece. The second is your community. Who are you working with? Who are your referral partners? Who are your clients? Are these people that complement you or complicate you? And really knowing, because when they complicate you, that disrupts your flow as well. And then the third is communication. So, how are you communicating with your clients? Are you creating a positive client experience that creates a rotating referral door? Because it's not about customer service anymore. That's what we do to people and for people. Customer experience is how they feel after having worked with us. And in order to do that, we have to develop a great client experience, but we also have to make sure that it's effective for us, right? Or efficient for us and effective for them, right? Because we can't serve everybody the same way. And then the last point is credibility. what does your credibility look like? What are you doing from a personal and professional standpoint to grow you, to become a market influencer, to become the expert, and realize that you're not selling, you're serving people. And that elevates you, and even in your mindset, that elevates you to a different level so that the ebb and the flow can happen. You're actually excited about what your business is all about, because it's not about the business where you can again try to squeeze your family in. This is where your family's first, your priorities are first, and then we build your business around that.
I love all of this. This is so rich to take in. So I hope people will re-listen to that because that was a really beautiful, like
Thank you.
four-step process you just gave us. But it all starts with the clarity of the core values and ends kind of with credibility and confidence is what I took away from that. So thank you for your advice on that. Really rich. And Lisa, I wanted to hop on over to you and say, okay, so what advice do you have from the expertise and the experience you have working with entrepreneurs that really gets them into the flow?
Thank you, Laura, and thank you for the opportunity. In fact, getting entrepreneurs into the flow is one of the key things I love doing. And I work very deeply with people to master their biology and master their state of being. We're so much into human doings rather than human beings, which is what Jen alluded to. And so I really work with people, particularly with a technique. It's an integrated process that I've developed that I call the space of grace. And I guide people through the neurological processes, getting their mindset, their brain in alignment, their heart in alignment, their nervous system in alignment, and focus on the core essence and intention of what they're really trying to get into flow to achieve. So rather than just a nebulous, oh, I'm in flow and let's see what happens, what I do with my clients is I actually create flow on demand. So there's a process where we can create for a specific period of time, working towards a specific outcome, that when I guide them and they can ultimately just do it quickly and on demand to get into the flow state within themselves, and then the results come. What they do when they're in that flow state is they actually, the way I guide them, they tap into the deeper intuition, the deeper knowing, and also the quantum field.
And how can they do that right now? How can they do something right now that would help them get into that quantum field or flow state or really clear?
Absolutely. The shortcut, we might have a few mindset things in the way, but the shortcut right now is to feel into your heart, to really appreciate who you are, what you have to offer without judgment, without expectation of what's going to eventuate. You feel into your heart, feel that expand, feel a time where you created something magnificent. And as you do that, that energy opens up. With that, the heart is the pathway into the quantum field, and you will automatically start to resonate with that. So by putting ourselves in a receptive state, rather than the incessant head chatter that we normally have, we're then open to broader insight, higher level thinking, and that's where the breakthroughs come, and all of a sudden time seems to disappear and you get so much done in such a short period of time.
Wow, and that brings us full circle to the slowing down to speed up because you're so effective and you're so connected because you're in that receptive state. I love that quantum field state. That's beautiful. Thank you. And Corin, tell us about what advice you have for entrepreneurs who are ready to get into the flow or desiring to feel more ease in their business.
Well, thanks again, Laura, for inviting me on the show. I'm so excited to be here. And I'm really interested to hear what Jen and Lisa have said as well, because that's so much in synchronicity with what I'm doing as well. I'm passionate about leadership with heart. And I'm passionate about helping people to be the best they can be and their most magnificent self. And in life and work, it's all about our mindset as entrepreneurs. And so often we'll have our agenda for the day, and so often we can get pulled away into other people's agendas. So what can you do, and how much do you concern yourself with what you think? What people think about you, and worry yourself. Are they going to be upset with me because I can't help them in this moment? How do you handle that? So I'd like to give you a couple of tips. So, for instance, you've got your agenda for the day, and everyone else wants a piece of you that day as well. So what do you do? So these two tools have really helped me as well in my business through the last 19 years. So first of all, I would say multitasking, as we hear all the time. How often is it actually task switching rather than multitasking? So when we're task switching, it can take us up to 20 minutes to refocus and get back onto what we were doing. So every time somebody else is asking us to do something, of course, we have to factor that into our day. And of course, it's not always easy if you're in a job where the phone is ringing and you've got people coming up to you and asking you questions. But wherever possible, it's good to be able to exercise this tip. So ask yourself, this is where I get on to the tips here. When somebody asks you to do something for them and pulls you away from your own agenda for that day, is ask yourself this question, is how important is this task on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being high? How important is the other task actually overall? Yeah. Who is it of most importance to and why? Ask yourself that question. And how does that compare to your own task on a scale of 1 to 10? So how important is that, and how does that compare to your own task and agenda for the day? And who is asking you? For instance, is it your boss? Then, of course, that's a tricky one. You have to be able to factor in who it is that's asking you, and what effect it's going to have. There might come a time when you have to say no, but it's how you say no. It's being able to say no and own it. It's being able to say no in an authentic way, like owning it and starting it with I'm unable to help you right now. I have a deadline. I could help you at 4 o'clock, but who else could help you? So it's knowing how to say no and saying it calmly and reassuring to the other person. And who else could help that other person if they're asking you? That's a question you could ask them as well. I can't help you right now. Who else might be able to help you until I'm free? Yeah, those kind of questions. So if you get into the habit of doing this each time, it really does help. And one of the things that I do, one of my talks and one of my workshops is all around time mastery. And this is a key factor for us entrepreneurs, is how we process our tasks on a daily basis. And we have to be able to say no, we have to be able to focus, we have to be able to keep our mindset in place in order to achieve what we need to do. So I hope you'll find that useful.
Yeah, very important, very practical ways, because a lot of people talk about the mindset, but they don't talk about what questions to ask themselves to actually keep them on track. So thank you for that. Thank you, all of you ladies. I want to learn a little bit more about your expertise, who you work with, and what you're passionate about doing with each of them, for each of you, for each of your clients and the people you speak to. So Jen, why don't you share a little bit about what you do and who you work for?
Thank you. Thanks for asking. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt overwhelmed and frustrated because you're doing everything you possibly can to get to the next level, but it doesn't matter? Right? So what if I could show you, thank you. What if I could show you a way that you could multiply your results in record time and yet still have the balance of the lifestyle that you always dreamed of? That's what I do for people. I help people that are successful who are struggling and frustrated to get to that next level. And they're just don't know. They're so frustrated. They say, I don't know what else to do. And they might even be thinking about moving careers, right? So it's either the growth or the, give up or go home, or go, give in and go home. And so I help those people identify the gap. Intuitively, I can help them with that gap and say, you know what, I can get you from this side of the river to the other side. I know how to do it. I've been there, and get that frustration out. And a lot of times, some of the problems are exactly what we're hearing today with time management, right? Time management issues or mindset issues. So that's how I help people build and bridge that gap to get to that next level that they have been fighting and frustrated with getting to for so long.
And how did you come to this work?
My own story. My own story. I had a wonderful 35-year career in mortgage lending. I was in the top 0.003% of lenders in the country. And to give someone scale on that, there were at the time 750,000 loan officers in the country, and I was in the top 200. And but there was a sacrifice. It was at a sacrifice, right? And many times, and this is really where the lifestyle business came into play, is that we're so crazy about our phones that we feel as entrepreneurs we have to be on everyone else's schedule, right? Is if they call us, we have to answer the phone. And I can't tell you how many times I was at dinner with my little kids then. They're all grown now, and I'm a grandma now. But they, all the time that they were, we go to dinner together, and I say, I have to take this call. I have to take it. And so what did I do? I went outside of the restaurant, and I was kind of walking the curb, back and forth and talking to my client. And I look in that window, and I see that my family is creating memories without me. And even today, it's very hard for me to say that. I'm holding back as I'm saying this, because enough was enough. And I was chasing, and I think what happens is that we damage our health and our relationships for our wealth. And then later we damage our wealth to attain our health and our relationships, right? And for me, this story in that moment, it was, I have to do something different. I have to stop squeezing my family in and start squeezing my business in. But in order to do that, in order to achieve the levels that I achieved, I had to become extremely efficient with my, I call it priority management, my priority management, extremely efficient with it. And I had to get my ducks in a row. And apparently they weren't in a row, because if they were, I would have my core values aligning with my business instead of being completely opposite of my business. And so that's what I do to help people really understand that alignment. And it's attractive.
Yeah, that's a compelling story, and it's lovely that you've been through the whole gamut of issues you can relate to, and now you help people get to that efficiency and to that ducks in a row state where they're thriving. So thank you for the great work you're doing. And I wanted to go over to Lisa and learn a little bit about you and what do you do? You said a little bit before, but talk to us a little bit about who you work with and what you do for them.
Yes, thank you, Laura. I'm really delighted that at this stage in my life and career, I specialize in working with conscious women, those women who are doing the personal development. They're aspiring to be better versions of themselves. They're curious, they're learning, they're growing. And the reason that they're doing that is there's an internal motivation. Life might have thrown things at them that they're needing to learn to handle, but they're also noticing just how fast the world is changing. I mean, my goodness, the rate of change is accelerating. And the women I work with are kind of going, oh my gosh, how do I keep up? But more importantly, they're seeing there's opportunity in this acceleration and these fast changing times. So I'm a futurist. I've always had a fascination for what's coming. I access my intuition, a lot of research, a lot of scientific literature, a lot of business. So I work at the nexus of business, leadership, energy, quantum physics, and personal transformation to help women thrive during these accelerating times. The way that we did things previously is not going to work moving forward. And the rate of change, predominantly driven by technology, is moving that fast that our biology is not keeping up with us. So I help us up-level our biology so that we can take advantage of the innovations and the opportunities that technology are bringing and actually ride the wave rather than being dumped in the sand by it. So I do it through programs. I do it through bespoke coaching. I do a lot of high-level coaching with entrepreneurs, specifically tailored to who they are, what they want to achieve, and what they can gain as an advantage in these fast-changing times.
Wonderful. And do you have a story about how you've helped a client?
I have, and I guess the way I work with clients is probably slightly different than a lot of other transformational business coaches. I've always been the kind of person that pushes their own boundaries, and I've been fascinated for the whole of my life with what makes people tick. And so I have traveled the world studying with some of the world's leading neuroscientists. I've walked on hot coals. I've studied Eastern philosophies as well as a lot of Western science. And I bring that together along with a heavy dose of life experience. And so I learned through journeying with a son with cancer and being the first child in the world to get brain damage as a result of that cancer. The medical profession said to me that that the brain damage would not ever be able to be healed. I didn't believe them. And this was before neuroplasticity was known. It was quite a while ago now. And so combining my skill and my talent is to combine the best of diverse fields and put them together in a system and a process, often in a way that hasn't been done before. And so I did that with my son, and we actually overcame the brain damage. He was assessed to be within the top percentiles for his age in brain functioning, despite the fact that he was still being given chemotherapy that killed his brain, and despite the fact that he was confined to a hospital room. And so I guess when I'm working with clients, I can meet them where they're at. There is no right or wrong. There is nothing that they can say or do that will shock me. And I've done the inner work into holding that space for them that allows them to ease into it. And from there, we get very, very clear. And so I'll give you an example here of the process that I run. I have one of my amazing clients. They want to disrupt the industry they're in. And it's not a self-help industry. It's actually a blue-collar industry. So I'm excited for them. So in interrupting that, we get really clear on their mission and values. Why do they want to interrupt it? What does that look like? Have a look at the vision. We then set the strategies, we set the goals, and it comes from a place of realism, who they are as people. As Jen said, how do we integrate that with their life, and what's their long-term plans with that? Now, what I've also learnt though is the power comes from how you take every step and every action. So what we do is we actually run scenarios prior to taking an action. We find out where there's resistance within their system, and then using energetic techniques, I clear those blocks and resistance to unleash the full power of the energy that they have. And because they've got the clarity, we have the plan, they have the outcome in mind, they can then utilize that energy to get much, much more powerful results. And so this then creates the upward spiral for them where they're getting great results, they feel really empowered, and they can go from there.
That's beautiful. Thank you for the great and healing work you're doing. It's so impactful. I want to go over to Corin and ask you a little bit more about what you do. Who do you serve? What are you passionate about doing for them? And what do you do with them?
I work with business leaders and entrepreneurs, and I'm passionate about helping people to be the very, very best they can be. And I think this is because of my own journey, which I'll talk about in a moment. But definitely, those times in life where we're struggling, and as Jen mentioned before, being overwhelmed and struggling to get everything done, lacking in confidence, lacking in self-belief, the self-limiting beliefs coming in, the upper limit problem coming in. So when everything is going well, we can throw spanners in the works subconsciously, all these kind of things. So I'm working with people through coaching and workshops and through public speaking with these kind of issues that come up for us. That's very exciting. Again, helping people to thrive, as Lisa said. And it's quite amazing, like you said at the beginning of the call, Laura, the synchronicity here between us is quite amazing, and there's definitely a flow, as per the theme of this show. So very exciting. So I'm helping people to increase their productivity, increase their confidence, so that they can really get out there, giving them tools and techniques and tips to really get out and thrive. And again, it's all about the being. It's about the authenticity. It's fine to have these tools and tips, but we're not creating robots here. We're creating, human beings. We're already human beings, but it's bringing our own personalities into all of this and into our mindset.
And so do you have a story about how you came to this work?
Yes. Well, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Now, my father was an entrepreneur and my mother was a teacher, but I always wanted to take after my father. But I was quite shy when I was younger, and I didn't really want to start teaching because I thought, I can't stand up in front of people and talk. It's not me. So anyway, when I started my career, I started in banking. I was doing money market exchange on the foreign exchange markets and sterling currency markets. Then I went into the travel industry, and I was working for British Airways, which I loved. I was working on the ground, not flying. And I was working in customer services, and then I was working in special services. And my manager called me one day and said, Corinne, there's this job that's come up in the training department. How about it? And I said, no way. Are you mad? I'm not going to stand up in front of people and talk. But my manager really believed in me and said, Corinne, for this reason and this reason and this reason, I think it would be really good for you. So I listened to her. I went for it, got the job, had to overcome pretty quick my fear of public speaking. The first thing they asked me to do was to design a stress management program for British Airways. So that was good on many levels. And so I designed this program, and I found that when I designed a program myself and run it, that really built my confidence because I really knew the material. I found that much easier than being given a course and asking to run with it. Of course, that's fine when you know the material really well, but yeah. So I overcame this, and I ended up working on some pretty major projects within British Airways, introducing ticketless travel when it first arrived in the UK from the States. And then I realized I could do this actually. I've wanted for so long to work for myself. And it really built my confidence. And I decided I was going to start on my own as a training consultant. And that's what I did at the beginning of 2000. So,
Wow.
yeah, so really it's about, that little step outside your comfort zone. And our greatest achievements are often just one little baby step outside our comfort zone. And if I hadn't done this, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. I'd be sitting in my little safety bubble somewhere, and I wouldn't be enjoying my life. I feel really lucky to have found my vocation and to be doing something I love and reaching so many people in different ways.
Well, congratulations. Awesome work. All of you talked about steps of courage that you've taken to come to the place you are, and now you help other people take those steps of courage and get into the entrepreneurial flow. And that's what we do here at Women Speakers Association. We make the journey easier. If you know anything about Women Speakers Association, we're a sisterhood. We come together and support each other. And by the way, this month we are running a very special, we call it our Premier Member Extravaganza. And that means you get a very great price on the activation fee, which is going up August 1st. So you can get it at the current fee, which is only $99. And then you have a whole set of bonuses. I encourage you to go to joinwsa.com to check that out. And I want to hear from each of you just really quickly, less than a minute, of what do you love and what value is Women Speakers Association to you? So let's go over to you, Jen.
Yeah, thank you so much, Laura. By the way, I just love what Corinne was saying about this energy that we all have here today. I've just already learned. I mean, that's the biggest point about today. So I'm a fairly new member. I've only been a member for a couple of months, and here I am on this call.
Yeah, already getting visibility.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. It's important for me for, lots of reasons. I love the opportunity to learn. I'm a life learner, and I think that that's extremely important. I'm an author of a book, and I'm about ready to release another book called Success to Significance: Life After Breaking Through All the Glass Ceilings. And I find that most women are in that place right now. And Lisa mentioned that too, that transitional place. And I find that a lot of women are there, and I love to collaborate with women who are of the same mindset that I am. So that's extremely important. And, I have a podcast as well. And so it's wonderful for me to find the opportunity to find other speakers who are looking for a voice, who want to make impact, so that I can interview them and they can share their story with the world as well. So that's really a lot of the reasons why I'm doing that. I'm fortunate enough to be traveling with Les Brown and Les Brown Jr. right now. So I'm having all kinds of great opportunities to meet lots and lots of people that I can collaborate with in and out of the Women's Speaker Association.
That's great. Yeah, so that's wonderful. The collaboration is a key word here at Women Speakers Association. So thanks for highlighting that, as well as all the benefits you're receiving. Lisa, share with us the value of Women Speakers Association to you as well.
Yes, thanks, Laura. I agree with Jen and also with Corinne, where she commented on the energy that we have as a group here today. For me, I was really looking for other women who are motivated out there, wanting to make a difference in the world. And so for me, the community, learning from people who have really done the hard yards and have achieved a degree of mastery is such a privilege to hang around these kind of women, and I feel so inspired by that. It is a marvelous group of women, all in one place with their hearts in the right place. And so for me, that sense of community combined with the knowledge of the professional speaking industry, and I can up-level my capability in that area, those two things are very powerful for me and exactly what I was looking for at this moment in my business and career.
Awesome. Thank you. I love the word up level. We've got collaborate, up level, and Corinne, tell us the value of Women Speakers Association for you.
Well, like Jen, I've only been a member for a couple of months, and already, as Jen said, here I am as well, talking to you today. But yeah, the real value is the integration and the engagement with the women. As we're talking, we're getting so much from each other. And again, I'd use the word collaboration again, but it's also about engagement, really being able to engage and meet like-minded people as well. And I love the support we're getting from the WSA. It's more than just an association. There's a lot of support there. You're coaching us, you're helping us, and obviously helping us to get ourselves out there and to be known. And that's so important in what we're all doing. And we've all got the same aim, is to get out there and share our message. And I feel that that's what the WSA is doing, and helping us on, supporting us. So thank you.
And thank you. Visibility, engagement, up level, community, collaboration. It's all here. JoinWSA.com if you're not already a member, and you'll be welcomed into the sisterhood as well. Thank you so much, ladies, for a fabulous and rich and enjoyable show about how to get into the entrepreneurial flow. Each of you are experts and have done this and do this with people regularly. So what a power team the three of you are. Thank you. We'll be back next week with another episode of WSA TV's Women's Premiere Show. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you very
everyone.
much. Bye.
Bye.
Great day. Bye-bye. See ya.
Wow.
Happy weekend, right?
Happy weekend. Yes,
Happy
happy
weekend.
weekend. That was wonderful. Really lovely to meet you all.